Good morning and Chag Sameach. It is so nice to virtually get to gather with all of you for Passover this morning. And so we start our service today with the words of Ozi B'Zimrat Yah, which actually come from the Exodus narrative from the same text that CHAMOCHA comes from, Exodus 15. So please sing it along with me if you know it. And if not, you can pause and re-listen to learn it if you'd like. But now we take a moment to join in song. Ozi B'Zimrat Yah, Vayehi li Lishua. Ozi B'Zimrat Yah, Vayehi li Lishua. Ozi B'Zimrat Yah, Vayehi li Lishua. Ozi B'Zimrat Yah, Vayehi li Lishua. Ozi B'Zimrat Yah, Vayehi li Lishua. Ozi B'Zimrat Yah, Vayehi li Lishua. Now is the time to move out of the narrow spaces. The I is the starting place, never the arrival. The journey outward begins now. And as we move outward and we experience the holiday of Passover, the Chag of Passover, we think about the narrow places in our own life and consider how we may want to go forward from them. EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, ve'EILU hen kibud avayim, ugmilut chasadim, ve'hashkamat beit hamidrash shacharit ve'arvit. EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, ve'EILU hen ve'hachnasat orchim, uvikur cholim, ve'hachnasat kala, ulvayat hamet, v'iyun tfilah, v'iyun tfilah, ve'HABA'AH SHALOM bein adam lechavro, ve'talmud Torah keneged kulam, ve'talmud Torah keneged kulam, talmud Torah keneged kulam. EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, EILU DİVARIM she'en lahem shior, ve'EILU hein. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world while the principle remains in the world to come. They are, please share along with me in your own homes, they are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. And so as we read this prayer, we consider how we can still take care of these tasks. Visiting those who are sick is no longer as easy as it may have been in the past, but we can still find ways to call and virtually reach out. And these words remind us of the importance of that at this time. And from that upbeat melody, we move to the words of Shema, the words of our tradition. And instead of doing the Shema that we normally do, I'm going to invite you to do a practice that I really like, where we take a deep breath with each word of the Shema and offer that word, sit in that word, hear that word. and just take it in. And so I invite you to do that with me. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Thanks for joining in that practice with me. From that prayer, we move to Mi Chamocha, the song of redemption that we sing as we go in our own narrative through that narrow place out of Mitzrayim, through the splitting of the sea, with hope in our hearts for what's ahead. So I invite you to sing the words of Mi Chamocha with me. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar v'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar v'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele, Adonai imloch leolam vaed, shira chadasha shimchu geulim, lashimcha al sfatayam, yachad kulam hodu vehimlechu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch leolam vaed, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, kodesh. And today, as we lead into the AMIDAH, we're going to do the last part of Mi Chamocha, a melody that is very haunting and moving, which reminds us to take that extra moment, consider how we want to enter into our prayers, what we need to offer, what we feel like needs to be heard by something bigger than ourselves. Join with me if you know it. Sur Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, ufdechinu mecha, Yehuda ve'Yisrael, Go aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Ka'al Yisrael. As we move into the central part of our service outside of the Torah service, the AMIDAH, we open with the words Adonai sfatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. God, open up my lips so that my mouth may declare your goodness, your praise. And when we do the AMIDAH on a festival morning, there are special editions. Now you'll be able to find those in the prayer packet that is also going to be accompanying this video. And so I invite you in your own time, in your own way, after I offer that opening line of the AMIDAH, to pause the video and take your time to go through the AMIDAH. Look at the words, the English, the Hebrew, whatever movies you, the commentary underneath, but note those special Passover editions and consider their meaning, their need within this service. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise. Sim shalom, tova, uvracha. Sim shalom, tova, uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed berachamim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Amecha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. As we enter into the Torah service, we have another addition that many of you may recognize from the high holidays, because indeed we do use it for high holiday services. It'll be in the attached packet. However, I'm going to read for you the English before we pray it. This section is considered the 13 attributes of the divine, and you'll hear why in just a moment. Adonai, Adonai, a God compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in kindness and faithfulness, extending kindness to the 1000th generation, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin, and granting pardon. Join with me if you know the melody. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum Vechanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed Ve'emet, Notzer Chesed Lehalafim, Nosei Avon Nafesh Avechata, Venakeh. And now for a short taste of Torah. But I invite all of you to do the Torah blessing with me, for me, on my behalf. I'm going to be reading, but I hope that each one of you, if you know the Torah blessing, and if not, you can read it in English instead. You'll have it in the packet, but join with me for the blessing over reading the Torah, and then we'll do the blessing after as well. Baruchu et Adonai Hamborach. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. V'haya kitzet Moshe El ha'ohel yakumu kol ha'am v'nitvu ish petach ohalo vehevitu achrei Moshe advo ha'ohela v'haya kevo Moshe ha'ohela yared amud he'anan ועומד פתח האוהל, ודיבר עם משה, וראה כל העם את עמוד הענן, עומד פתח האוהל, וקם כל העם, והשתחוו, איש פתח אוהלו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, Asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. In addition to all these other things that make the Passover festival morning service special, something that is unique to our festival services is the opportunity to say Hallel. Last night during your Passover Seder, you may have in your Haggadah seen the Hallel, maybe you even sung it with your family and friends, or perhaps you get to that part and say, we've already eaten, we already found the Afikomen, we're done. And that's okay too. But I want to share with you these words of Hallel. Hallel literally means to praise. And so these are just some psalms with melodies to them that we sing as part of our practice of praising for a joyous holiday, for a joyous experience, which is remembering of the Exodus. And so join with me if you know them. If not, you can listen, but here are some selections from the Hallel Psalms. I'll be using different melodies just so that you might be able to get to hear one that's familiar, maybe learn a new one. Enjoy.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hahallel בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעמלואס, הייתה יהודה לקודשו, ישראל ממשלותיו, הים רעב וינוס, הירדן ייסוב לאחור, בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעמלואס. The next psalm we're going to be offering is going to be Psalm 118. And the melody I'm going to share with you today is by Bon Yeshua. It's a call and response melody. And the part that you need to know is this. Ki le'olam chasto. Try it with me. Ki le'olam chasto. Beautifully done. And what that means is God's everlasting kindness. That's what we're praising with this one. And it's a beautiful melody, and what you need to know as far as singing it is this. Ki le'olam chasto. Try that again. Ki le'olam chasto. And I'll sing it with you as you go through. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov. Ki le'olam chasto. Yomar na Yisrael. Ki le'olam chasto. Yomrun al beit Aharon. Ki le'olam chasto. Yomerun yirei Adonai. Ki le'olam chasto. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov. Ki le'olam chasto. At the end of Psalm 118, we have another beautiful set of words that has a lovely melody. Pitchuli. Pitchuli share tzedek avov amodeah. Pitchuli share tzedek avov amodeah. Pitchuli share tzedek avov amodeah. Pitchuli share tzedek avov amodeah. Pitchuli share tzedek avov amodeah. Now we offer the closing blessing for Hallel. We're going to read it in English and then do the Chatimah, the closing piece of the blessing, all together in Hebrew if you'd like. But please feel free to read with me in English. All your works shall praise you, Adonai, our God. All your faithful ones, the righteous who do your will, and all your people, the house of Israel, thank you in joyous song, and bless, praise, glorify, exalt, extol, sanctify, and proclaim the sovereignty of your name. For it is good to give you thanks and to sing praises to your name, because throughout all time, to eternity, you are God. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, praised in song. Baruch atah Adonai melech mehulal v'tishbachot. And so I hope you've enjoyed this little taste of the Passover festival morning service. Maybe you got to learn some new melodies, hear some you haven't heard in a long time. But I hope it brought a little extra light, a little extra joy, and a little extra hope to your day. So we close with one of my favorite songs. It's called HABA'AH. It's an Israeli folk song. and it's about looking toward next year. You'll have it in your packet, and I invite you to sing along with me. בשנה הבאה נשב על המרפסת ונספור ציפורים נודדות. ילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין השדות. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. ענבים אדומים יבשילו עד הערב ויוגשו צאנים לשולחן. ורוחות רדומים ייסעו על אם הדרך עיתונים ישנים כענן. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. בשנה הבאה נפרוס כפות ידיים מול האור הניגר הלבן. ענפה לבנה תפרוס באור כנפיים והשמש תצר בתוכן. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. We will see just how good it will be in the year to come.